Hello, beautiful souls. Wow. So I woke up, or no, yesterday I had a really red eye. So I've been trying to take care of that and pretty much got no sleep last night. Maybe 2 hours. Crazy. No time for naps today. So it's just going to be one of those days. Um, Man, I've been having a hard time. I have not been having a hard time tapping in and doing my daily message, and I've not been having a hard time meditating, but it is when I am not doing those things and I get busy with the daily 3D obligations and duties that I have that things start to feel not aligned. In fact, so what it feels like is that we have our 3D reality and our 5D, my stomach, our 5D, want to say psyche, but that's not exactly the right word. Our consciousness has elevated to a certain level where we are going to maintain a 3D existence. And so this is the shift where the 3D existence hasn't changed much. And there's still all this resistance, and you can still see all of these people, government officials with agendas. And for somebody like me, I see further down the road, and that the idea is conformity. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. That's pretty much been, I'll just look at US history since that's partly what my teaching degree is in, but you have a whole bunch of conformity, and then you have rebellion, right? You look at the 50s and we have the 60s. The 70s were all about economic ruin and barely making it, right? Into the 80s, which was affluence for some people. And where are we now? Where are we now? We're in this time period where most of humanity is just living in fear. A lot of humanity is afraid. And it's been interesting because I think I've been depressed. Not majorly, and not to any point of ever being on medication. I only did that once in my life, and that was right after my brother killed himself. And getting off of that medication, I did that in the summer. But it's not easy. I don't need that medication. But it's interesting. So they have this pill that you can take, right? To make you feel better. But really what it does is makes you not feel. It gives you the middle. You don't get the high of the joy, of the affect. And then you also don't get the low of the low. My deal is I'm feeling everything. But what's interesting is just with all of this COVID stuff, here I go saying it. I should probably change that. I should probably just say virus. You know, I feel like I am not in the minority, or I'm in the minority. I'm not in the majority. And I know that is how they want me to feel. And I'm okay with that. But that has shifted a lot of my patterning. I mean, I still go to the grocery store. I still go out and do my stuff. But I don't leave the house every day. That whole quarantine thing completely shifted my routine. And I notice it now. Need to do something about it. I'm noticing. I'm taking care of business. It's like this interesting thing where I'm going through one thing at a time and shifting for myself to make myself healthier. And what needed to happen was the shift in consciousness first for me to be able to value myself, to see my true self in order to stop smoking entirely. And then in order to exercise. All of these things require you to put yourself on your own list. That's what we are being asked to do. Put yourself on your own list at the top. You can only fill from the overflow within you. We cannot be depleted. With these intense energies coming in, we get out of whack really quick. At least I've noticed, not really blockages, but just feeling off. I mean, I have had to revamp my whole psychic protection game. It's weird. What has worked up until now was all of a sudden not working. So there has been a major shift. And what I noticed, it was, for me, I had to shift everything because I'm not going to be distracted anymore. And a lot of this psychic crapola that kept coming in was distracting me. It's not like it was a big deal. I could undo it, but it takes time and it takes energy. And I don't want to be doing that. It was frivolous in my perspective. I know why. I know why it was happening. So be willing to revisit all of your usual stuff. Things need to be changed right now. Things are shifting. This incoming energy is super strong, right? I kept waking up last night, and it's funny because I have a app on my phone that talks about, solar flares and the geomagnetic storms. Every time I woke up, I looked up, and if I would look at my phone, there would be another alert. For what was it? A 7, G7. I'm like, oof, here we go, right? And then pretty much all night it fluctuated between a G7 and G6, and I was awake. I could not go back to sleep. I finally fell back asleep for a little bit. Then the dog was acting crazy. I'm like, interesting energy, new moon. We usually think of the full moon of making people crazy. But this is interesting. There's a lot of people that are like on the verge of cracking. Psychosis, mental. Like what I even when I just said that, like one thing, one event away from like complete flipping out. What I just saw when I said that was like a car accident, like a little tiny fender bender, and somebody getting out of the car and just being a friggin' lunatic. The moon. Anyway, right? But being crazy. Like where the inconvenience and yes, having a car accident, but where that and the reaction is nowhere in the ballpark of being reasonable. I think we're about to see a whole bunch of really unreasonable people. I mean, we've already been seeing some, but it's about to get worse. And people don't like it when I say this, but especially the people that have believed everything the government has told them. They're about to feel really duped. And what's interesting is by reinforcing their belief, they've gotten further and further and further away from the reality of what is happening, right? And in fact, a lot of us, I mean, there's a continuum here of what is real. Some people are really out there on what they think is happening. And then there's other people that are a little more conservative in what they're actually believing. But it's going to be interesting watching all of this come in. All of these people that thought they were doing the right thing and were lied to or duped. It's like, you know, all the people I can think back, you know, to when aliens aren't real. Okay, all these people, government, no, that's not real. These people, they're conspiracy theorists. They're crazy. What do they do quietly during COVID? Release this huge amount of information. Their government documents that say that aliens are real. Hush, hush, quiet. That's just one thing. This has been happening. This has been happening. They don't tell us the truth. First. They don't. It's kind of like, oh, I'm not going to remember the name of the movie because I never remember movies. That big, huge asteroid coming towards Earth. I forget what the name of it was. Tioni, whatever. Oh, man. I'm bad about remembering this kind of stuff. But they knew it was coming. Did they tell the people? Not until right before. They intentionally kept it a secret. I don't know if this is intentionally being kept a secret now or if the need to know is like pretty high up there. And so some don't. I mean, who knows? It's not me to judge. I just can feel if something is real. I can feel if something is true or not within me. My body is my instrument. Anyway, there's what's happening with me. Hopefully my eye will keep getting better. I really don't want to go to the doctor, and it does look like it's getting much better. Interesting. For no reason. Anyway, I love you guys, and take care. Bye.